meeting to order. I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you will. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with the good stuff, the fun stuff. We've got a police officer to swear in. Gentlemen. And I'll start with the proclamation. Is to the inhabitants of Littleton, New Hampshire, Grafton County. Whereas there is a vacancy in the Littleton Police Department in said town, and whereas we, the subscribers, have confidence in your ability and integrity to perform the duties of a full-time patrol officer, we do hereby appoint you, said Kyle Audit, as a member of the Littleton Police Department of said town, and upon your taking the oath of office and having this appointment and the certificate of said oath of office recorded by the town clerk, you shall have the powers to perform the duties and be subject to the liabilities of such office until another person shall be chosen and qualified in your stead. Given our hands this Monday, June 11, 2018, Skylar Sweet, Chairman, Franco Rossi, Vice Chairman, Carrie Gendro, Select Person. You're supposed to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kyle Audit, do solemnly swear.
I, Kyle Audit, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully and impartially.
That I will faithfully and impartially.
Discharge and perform all the duties.
Discharge and perform all the duties.
Incumbent on me as a full-time patrol officer.
Incumbent on me as a full-time patrol officer.
Of the Littleton Police Department.
Of the Littleton Police Department.
According to the best of my abilities.
According to the best of my abilities.
Agreeably to the rules and regulations.
Agreeably to the rules and regulations.
Of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
Of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is yours to keep.
Perfect.
Chief, so I just wanted to say thank you. Kyle comes to us with a family that is deeply rooted in community service, public service, and law enforcement. He's a graduate of Grafton High School. He also has an associate's degree in criminal justice, but he's also an ambulance driver for Grafton. He's a volunteer firefighter. So, you know, he's certainly shown his commitment to the citizens of the North Country, and, you know, with our hire with him, he's here to cover our vacancies while we have numerous officers deployed, and he's very enthusiastic, and we're very happy to have him on board. And congratulations to Kyle and his family, and I think that I know that he'll do an outstanding job for Littleton.
Welcome.
Thank you.
There goes most of our audience. Okay, next on the agenda is the town manager's report.
All right. Tonight I'm just going to go over an update on some of the ongoing projects that we have. Currently the sub 5 sewer project we've put out to bid. We received one bid. It was $500,000 over where we needed to be. We are putting that out to bid again, and we expect to have more participation, and I'll have the results for that, and hopefully within the next month. The Saranac and Manusic Street project, that's the one funded by the EDA and CDFA and the River District Bond. That one, we received a notice to award Calder Construction on June 4th. And we're working right now in collaborating with Calder. We've also received from the EDA our notice to proceed with a contract, which allows construction to actually begin. So at this point, Calder Construction is ordering the necessary materials and getting ready for the site setup. So, and we'll continue to work with the public on that project, and we're going to have a communications team. It's going to be headed by our engineering contractor. Is going to start regular meetings with the property owners and notification of people who go on the street regularly.
How does timing on the project look now that they're able to actually schedule it?
We don't have the complete construction calendar to see exactly when we'll be completed by. There are deadlines within the contract, and there are, I believe there's always a fine basically on the contract if they don't finish by
Late
a
fees.
certain date. Yeah, yeah.
There's penalties.
Yep, penalties, so. The Remick part, let's see if, Chris Wilkins, our rec director, was gonna be here to talk a little bit about, the pool, but I think he may have gotten busy with softball today. The Remick pool and building repairs, so there were some code violations that continued in the building, and we've now completed those. The pool itself is in pretty bad shape. We had to do some emergency repairs this year that involved mortar and then sealing and painting. And so we're, I think, about halfway done with that right now. We found difficulty in actually getting contractors, to find enough contractors to follow our own financial policies with that, but we were able to get bids and get that underway.
That's Mountain Valley doing that?
I believe so. I saw the contract a couple weeks ago.
Out of
But
Gorham.
yeah, probably, yeah. Yep, they're doing a really good job. The mortar work is all done, and they're on the painting now, so. Foster Hill Road update. We actually are doing that under 2 contracts. One is specifically to do the drainage repairs, the culvert replacement. And so we have that. I believe we're underway with that, and maybe even getting close to done. I could ask a resident who's actually probably up there today what he's seeing.
As of 15 minutes ago, 6 were done.
Awesome. So we should be getting pretty close within a couple of days.
It might be a little over halfway.
Oh, good. Takes about a day,
Just about a day.
yeah,
to
for
do
each one.
one.
So our next step is we put the project out to bid. We received 5 responses this morning. It looks like we might actually be able to, the project involved grinding and re-putting the material in the base, adding 6 inches of additional material. That'll help with the frost, and then compacting, doing a new wear course. And then we also did a bid alternate to complete it with a top course of pavement. And right now we're analyzing the bids. Joe's been working on that all day. And it looks like if the low bidder is able to hold up everything in there, we would be able to do it under what we've put in for the warrant article. Some of the other work that's in there might have to be put off a little bit, but we'd be able to have a complete finished road,
Including the pavement?
including the pavement.
Wow.
Yeah. We've had some good competitive bids, so. And that project would be done, I think our expected completion date would be by the end of July, so pretty quick. Saranac and Amanuensis Street, I just updated that. We also have the master plan project. That is one that was approved at town meeting, and we expect to have the proposals. We don't have that out to bid yet. We were reviewing that. We have a draft proposal that's going to be reviewed by the planning board. After they agree to it, we'll send that out and do a review, and then provide all the responses to the RFP to the planning board to review and make a recommendation for final selection. So I expect that to be underway by July 17th, but then there'll be a delay before we can get the contractor probably up and going for the process. So budget process policy, that's something that we've discussed several times. We are working on a draft. We should have that ready for you before the next select board meeting to review and make any recommendations for changes. And the Public Works and Fire Department USDA grant, the doors and the generator, that was also a warrant article where the town was picking up about 45% and USDA about 55%. So we've put it out to bid. We have our bids in, and we've submitted a request to the USDA to award the project. So there was some additional charges that came in. Chief's not here, but we were able to, or we're going to squeeze his budget to pull out some of the costs. So, also, there's, in just reading some online, we found that Littleton recently was designated a federal opportunity zone. And so I've put a request in for more information to the governor's office. They've recommended that I work with Taylor Caswell's office, and they're going to come in and talk about what that means. It sounds like it's a kind of a creative way to help investors invest in Littleton and get some sort of a tax benefit out of it. But we're going to have a presentation on that sometime in the near future. So, and then we haven't had a meeting since the end of May, so this is a year-to-date look at the budget where we're at, and you'll see it's pretty tight. Yeah, I think it's the only. I can give you. I'll probably give you mine.
That's all right.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So if you look at by the end of May, we should be at 42.3%. The total expenses are at 42.89%, so you can see we're slightly over. But if you look through, you'll see, for example, under personnel administration, we're at 61.7%, and that's really due to the workman's comp. We paid that for the entire year. And then cemeteries, we've pretty much paid for half of the year at this point, and they're at 47%, so they're a little over. Town insurance. Insurance has been paid for the year except for deductibles, so that's why that's at 85%. And most of the advertising, we've got a lot of projects going on, so advertising and regional associations is up there, 94%. Dispatch, we pay that in installments, and half the year has already been paid, even as of the end of May. And the highway department, we've had quite a bit of overtime there. That was due to the storms. We're still working with FEMA to try to recoup some of those expenses. So hopefully that'll get us back in line if we're able to do that. And then
Those are from last year's storms, right?
these were storms this year. Oh, FEMA storms were last year. Correct. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we won't be getting any of that back. I'm sorry. Hopefully we can make it up in summertime, but schedules are pretty tight
Well, I know Water and Light's in the same boat.
because of the storms. Yeah. Right. And then debt service is a little bit high, but we pay that throughout the year, and that should come in under budget. You also, if you take a look at our revenues too, we're at 39.2%, and again, if everything remained the same throughout the entire year, we would be at 42%, but that's not the way it works. There's a lot of seasonality in it, and we're going to see our revenues pick up for the summer, starting fairly shortly.
Yeah, what's your favorite bill?
Yeah.
I appreciate this report, and what you're giving us is what I asked for back months ago to get the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for one more thing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I don't want to create a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be helpful to me if we could add a column here to know when you're looking at the the previous year's budget, what percentage we were at then.
Okay.
So that, because
Yeah.
it's hard for me to know from year to year, the budget changes, so
Mm-hmm.
it's important. It's more important to me to know how the percentages compare than how the actual dollars compare.
Right.
You can't do the math in your head that fast?
Well, I don't have the number. It's not there, right?
Right. Yeah. The year-to-date expense for the previous year isn't there.
The year-to-date expense is there, but I don't know what the budget was.
Oh, the budget amount.
Right.
So we don't know what the
2017.
percentage was. And I don't
Right.
need what the budget was if we just need,
Have the
just for
percentage.
interest of space,
Mm-hmm.
if we just put the year-to-date for the previous year percentage would be helpful to me.
Yep. I'll see if we could do that. I believe Karen creates this report in Excel after taking
Yeah.
the stuff out of BMSI. I'll see if we can do that. Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
And we need to look at something besides the MSI,
Yeah.
so you don't have to do that.
Yes.
Chris just came in.
Oh, good. So, Chris, I just gave an update on the pool. I haven't spoke about gear yet. I don't know if you want to just give a quick update on our last meeting for the gear project and what they were looking for from the select board, and maybe if the rec commission has taken a stance on the project as well.
Yeah, so we met with, all right.
All right, get in front of the camera.
All right. So we met with some community members, business owners, about some of the logistical aspects of what it's going to take to hold something like this here in our town, and what type of involvement we're going to have. In terms of investment into it, we didn't know what that's going to look like. So we came up with, we're going to be ready, we want to be visible, because it is going to be a huge benefit to the town. There was a lot of positive support from business owners that were there, and is there
Yeah. I don't know if you want to hold this as a prop, but I think the viewers probably aren't really, or the public might not be totally aware of what is gear. Who's involved as far as like the organizations?
So this started as a Plymouth State project. They have their new cluster program, which is multiple semesters with the same goal. And they've come up with a destination marketing theme for it. So they came up with Littleton as a destination because we are an attractive city off the highway. We're a good distance from everything. They came up with a 3-event program, which is a running rally, a biking rally, and then a driving rally with Team O'Neill. Is that?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. And so the goal is to bring people from all different types of backgrounds. They even put together different personalities of who might be coming, different sponsors, newcomers, attendees, athletes, what type of people we're going to bring in. So they've put in a lot of work on our target audience, where do we want to go, and the goal is to bring people in from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Mass, Connecticut, and we want to get New York in there too. We want to get Canada. So it's, we were able to give our input on what they've done so far and expand on it. They put together a whole budget, and it's preliminary, and it might not be perfect, but it's a good idea of what it's going to take, based on everything from porta potties, dumpsters, to the electrical impact that it's going to have on the system, things like that. So they did a really thorough job on this, and obviously they're not going for the summer. So how do we keep it going? How do we, what steps are we going to take as a community to bring this? Because it will have a solid economic impact on our community. So, and what is that going to look like? We're not sure yet, but we know that as a Parks Department, in terms of the visibility and support, we're able to do quite a bit. So we're kind of waiting to see what the community members have to say, and we'll go from there. The Parks Commission was all in favor of us being involved in this in some way, shape, or form for the visibility and marketing that's going to bring to our department. So.
Yep, and really the gear group who's gotten together is kind of looking for general support of the board for the town to, continue to work with the gear group and pursue it as a potential event. So.
Yeah, that's great. It was a very positive meeting, support from restaurants, sports vendors, things like that. So.
Did you have the lodging sector there as well?
Our last meeting was actually at Thayer's Inn.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I think they've already, so there's also sponsorship levels that are built into the revenue generation, and I believe Thayer's has already offered to be a platinum sponsor. Yeah. So.
Yes, this is intended to have no cost to the taxpayer of Littleton.
Yeah.
In case somebody wanted to ask that.
That is true. So having us not be the main body of it, but be supporting in whatever form that takes.
Right.
So
I think we as a board support this, do we not?
Absolutely. I just came from a selectmen's meeting in a town in Vermont that was for work. And they have, it's not gear, but they have a similar thing they started several years ago. But it's a marathon, a short, not a 26-mile marathon. But it's been, they have 5-member board there, and every one of them said that it's like their 7th or 8th year in it now, and it's been a huge boom to their local business and economy to have that. People are coming from all over the world now to that event.
Wow.
So for your sake, Chris, and for the public's sake that's watching television, we just did a quick huddle, and the select board is in favor of supporting this effort. Good luck.
thank you very much.
If you need any additional help, contact Andrew.
Sounds good.
Good.
You're still on.
Okay. And really, that's all I have for the town manager report today.
Next item on the agenda is old business, and we have nothing under old business. Following that is new business. The first item on the agenda under new business is the social services funding request application. I'll give the public a little background on this. Many of our nonprofit agencies do warrant articles requesting monetary financial support. And in the past, both the Budget Committee and the Select Board have been reluctant to act on those requests in terms of supporting them or not, simply because we had no way of knowing the actual need. So we have a form, an application form in front of us that we're about to enact, or seriously considering enacting, that will give not only us, but more importantly, or as importantly, the Budget Committee, the tools to analyze each of those requests and then render an opinion as to do they support it or not. And as you all know, on your ballot at town meeting, all those warrant articles say supported by the Budget Committee or not, and the vote. And they also say supported by the Select Board or not by the vote. This form, actually, I think Milt got it for us, and it's similar to or a copy of a form that Grafton County uses to consider many of the same requests, but any requests that come to them have to go through this process. So we're going to do this, and we're going to adopt it tonight. I'm not going to even attempt to read it. It's multi-pages, but it basically asks them for some information about their agency. It asks them for their board of directors. It asks them for financial information of where they stand and where they're going, and it asks them what they're going to do with the money. In the case of a repeat agency, which won't happen this year, but in future years, then we want to know what they did with the money last year. Did they spend it in the manner that they said they were going to? Did they spend all of it, part of it? All these are in this form. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're reacting to actually a number of citizens that were not happy that we didn't take action. And we didn't take action because we didn't have the information. This will give us the information and hopefully allow both ourselves and the Budget Committee to be able to vote intelligently on all the applications. We are not going to vote on it right now. It will be available for public comment when we get to public comment. You guys have anything to add to what I said?
Nope, I think that covers it.
Okay. So the next thing under new business is Terry Martin, Grafton County Nursing Home fishing request at the Dells. That's in our packet, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a fishing request. They need, we've got some rules and regulations that go along with it, but they need our permission to do so. We will again vote on that when we get to public input. Next thing on the new business is the Parking Commission appointments. And as you know, we've had several conversations at these meetings in the past about parking in different parts of the town, in the whole town. Lots of people that are experts with lots of opinions. we felt it was something bigger than what we wanted to tackle, so we're appointing a committee to look into it and study it. And we put an ad in the paper and the website and so forth, asking for volunteers to serve on the committee, and we've had some responses, and we are appointing the following people. Nathan Carroll, who is the new chamber executive for a 3-year term. Wayne Morello for a 3-year term. Tony Alacqua for a 2-year term. Ronald Hemingway for a 2-year term. Jim Alden for a 1-year term. Mary Menzies for a 1-year term. And Jim McMahon for a 1-year term. I think we can have public comment on that, so we can vote on that later also. Okay? That does it for new business. We now have to go into some Board of Assessors business, which, for those of you who don't know, the Board of Assessors are the 3 of us. The first one that comes up, and we did a bunch of these at a special meeting a few weeks ago, which was a public meeting and noticed. However, we tabled this particular one, which is Amanuset Conservation Trust, Meadow Street, Tax Map 91-87, 2018 Conservation Restriction Easement. This has been recommended for approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Further discussion?
I have a question. This was, we tabled it at the last meeting for a reason. I don't remember why. You wanted to look into it. Were you satisfied?
Yeah, I was satisfied. It had just come in last minute, and I had a chance to go over where it was.
Okay,
And,
that's fine.
you know, what the conditions are.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The next one was another last minute one, or we missed it, I can't remember. It was an abatement request from DirecTV, abatement number 3121, tax year 2017, 1089 Mount Eustis Road. This is recommended from our assessor for denial. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion?
Second?
Discussion?
Thought we already voted on this.
No,
So-
we missed it.
This was, so it's actually, there were 2 parcels under DirecTV. And we got
okay.
one of them. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All those in favor of denying the abatement request?
Aye.
Aye.
It's 3-0. Okay, we're moving right along here. We're into public comment. Do we have any public comment? Well,
I just got a couple questions. That form for the budget, has that been run through any of the budget committee members, or is it gonna be run through them for any input as to what they might be actually looking for information?
it has not been run by them. It is scheduled after we adopt it to be run by them at a future, as Andrew referred to, budget committee meeting with ourselves and the budget committee prior to the start of the budget season.
Okay.
It'll probably be the beginning of July, I think is what we were shooting for. Beginning of July?
Yes.
That was,
But it'll already be adopted at that point?
We're going to adopt it. If there's something they want to change, we can change it.
Okay, all right. The second one was on the parking commission. Now, you talk about 3-year terms for the commission there. A lot's gonna change over a 3-year period. So what kind of deadline or date are you looking for that parking commission to come up with some recommendations, or is it gonna be ongoing, kind of an ongoing committee?
The reason the terms are staggered is because we think it's going to be, if not ongoing, certainly lengthy before everything's resolved. It may well be ongoing,
Okay.
but that's why there's staggered terms.
So you're not looking for anything to be solidified or completed within 3 years? it's gonna be. it
Well,
could
it may well
longer
be.
than that.
They may come with some recommendations next week, although I doubt it. But
Okay.
they could.
My guess is that, my gut's telling me that with everything that's going on in the town, that it's not a 3-year project. It's gonna be, my guess is gonna be an ongoing project.
I would agree with that.
And I would say, by the way the board has created and charged that committee or commission, is their charge was coming up with immediate and long-term solutions. So just kind of like a master plan with the planning board, that this will be, they'll come up with a plan that's set, but it's going to need to be updated regularly with changes that are happening. So, in the North Country Council, I remember we spoke about maybe over a year ago, they were going to use federal highway funds and help us with the parking study, and that never happened. They had a pretty significant staff change over there, which kind of prevented us from being able to do that. Well, we have a scope of work with them, and that's going to be one of the first duties, I believe, of the parking commission, is really working with that scope, and then working with them to get a final product, to get that immediate to 25-year plan.
Yeah, and I would go so far as to say that I would be pretty disappointed if we didn't have some short-term things come soon, whether it's a month or 6 months, whatever. But there's some things that just need to be addressed now. We can't wait and establish something 3 years from now. So.
Yeah.
Parking garage.
Yeah, we're not gonna wait until there's a huge master plan. It can come piece by piece by piece. You don't wanna tie their hands too much and demand this or that or this by certain dates, but let them work on it. If they got something that they think they've resolved soon, make a proposal to the select board and see where it goes. They may also, and I would be surprised if they didn't, ask for some public comment before they make a proposal.
Absolutely.
I know years and years ago, back when I was working with Paul on the police facility, we did a number of public comments because we wanted to know what the people of the town thought about the way we were going. And in some cases, we modified things because of the comment. And I'm hoping and actually suspect that this parking commission will do the same thing. They will be encouraged to put it that way. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Anyone else? Mr. Gelsey?
What I'm going to talk about today, it's I've been going around, to couple board meeting to the other town to see the way they approach the problem that they have, stuff like that, with the population, the way they interact. I see that a couple of the time near to us, they have a lot of transparency going on. By transparency is this, that it's they have a good relationship in between the selectmen and the citizen of these towns, that if you want, I'm going to mention it. But anyway, regarding that, right, it's when I start to realize that a few towns next to us, it's like Bethlehem, it's like, Sugar Hill, they have bulletin boards outside the town hall. That's, if it's a citizen, quote unquote, they don't have like $1 or $2 to go buy the paper, they go to the board, they find out everything that's going on in town, which they can interact with the selectmen. Right now, I understand that you guys have a contract with the Caledonia. To me, personally, not just to me, it's with a lot of people that I talk, Caledonia, it's the worst newspaper that you guys sign a contract. Here, I tell you why. You gotta buy 4 pages for $1 every day to find out whatever the Caledonia prints. That's in a week time, it's $7 just to find out what. Who knows if they print or not. This is money that the town can save. by build the bulletin boards. Probably you can do that in a river district. Beautiful. People take a walk, you know, and stuff. And they say, wow, look at the town and stuff like that. This is why we're talking about transparency. We people start to really appreciate the town. Right now, this doesn't happen. Littleton town, I'm sorry to say, it's the worst town, in my opinion, in the opinion of a couple other people, for transparency. Everything that you guys do, hey, I'll give you the example right now. Town manager report. Who knows about that? You're the only one. And whatever you print over here. Do anybody knows what the hell you're talking about? No, doesn't gonna be in the paper. Do you make a copy to give it to me, to them, and to the other people inside here? No. That just means as soon as we get out of here, we forgot. If somebody sent you an email, and this is nothing against you, a lot of people complaining about you know, participated with the population of the Littleton. You know, collaborated all, my dear Andrew. This is honest to God truth. A lot of people talk about that. You gotta be more transparency and everything you do with anybody that asks you a question. It's not to criticize you, because I know that you do a good job. This over here, you got a copy of the town manager report? I would like a copy. I send you an email. Do you gonna send me a copy? Forget it. Because you never answer your emails. By the way, that's not the subject. The subject is the board, the bulletin board. What you guys can do to alleviate this problem we have? Do you think how much it's gonna cost? We spend so much money this time. Do you think, you know, eventually you guys talk about to put a bulletin board outside the town? What, you know, I don't know.
the answer.
We have bulletin
It's-
boards. Yeah.
We already do that.
You do that? How do you do that, Frank? How do you do that, Rossi? How do you do that?
We,
I understand. You put them on the internet.
We put it on the internet.
Not only do that, we send the notices to the library, we send them to the water and light department.
Why,
They're on the
why,
internet.
why every other town they have a bulletin board that we cannot have one? When we got the best, we got the biggest town.
For one thing, we lease from the bank, and there are no bulletin boards outside of the bank.
The river district belongs to us, to the taxpayer. You can build the settlement, you can
How's it
build a
gonna
nice
be
bulletin
updated in
board.
the winter?
What time?
Who's gonna do it?
Who's gonna do it? That's you guys' job, it's not mine.
I think we do a good job in
Okay,
providing public.
this
Rudy,
was a
Fact of the
suggestion.
matter
Rudy,
is,
we have a bulletin board in the library, we have a bulletin board at Water and Light. All that stuff is on there. We have an internet site. Does Bethlehem and Sugar Hill have a TV station that this is published on?
They don't have it.
No, they don't. We
No.
do.
No, they don't have. How many people they got channel 2?
Everybody in town.
Who?
Everybody in town.
It's also on YouTube. Channel 2's YouTube now. And
it's not-
We give more coverage than anybody else.
You do?
Yeah.
all of our things are televised and put
I'm
on.
gonna repeat again,
And
I
on
hope you
YouTube.
got it. Transparency in this town, it's the worst
do
over
you mind
the
if I
worst.
take
You know, you making the statement doesn't make it so.
Yeah, Rudy, I
You understand that?
totally agree.
Just because you say so doesn't make
I
it
don't
true.
say so, people say so. Why they are not
Well,
here?
that's easy.
Why
People
they
say
are not
so.
here? I can't go any other place and they got 60 people.
Both of them.
Rudy, they're
That's all
probably.
right, that's all right.
I
What are
couldn't.
you gonna do?
Rudy, I can't speak for everybody else, but sometimes we could make assumptions that people aren't here because they feel fully informed. We also televise all of our budget committee meetings. We also do. I do a special that isn't probably very exciting, but that goes over the budget in detail. To help the voters understand what they're prepared for, in addition to the budget committee presentations. And we have
Dear
a
town
website also.
manager, you don't need to answer the emails. I can bring you 20 people that send you email and you don't need to
I'm
answer.
sure I have a
Thank you
difficult
for
time
your
keeping up
input.
with that, but
Is there anyone else who has any public input?
Then you guys are gonna think about the bulletin board? No? That's, your answer is no?
I didn't give you an answer.
Oh.
it's a move for. See if the bank would allow them.
You do realize that the town offices are housed in a building that the town does not own?
Yes. That's why I said the jurisdiction belongs to us. Anybody, all the taxpayer, actually people that they don't pay tax, still they can use the jurisdiction. You can put a board over there.
How is that different than putting it at the library?
Because Franco, in the library you gotta walk. You gotta do all the steps. You gotta stop at the car. You gotta put it, you know,
So
whatever.
you think you're gonna drive by the river district and do a drive-by and read it while you're driving
They
by?
have a free parking over there. You know it.
Thank you, Rudy.
Okay, do whatever you gotta do, then, you know, okay.
Thanks for your permission.
Okay, we got a couple of things we need to act on, the first of which was the social service funding request application. Why don't we, I would entertain a motion to go ahead with that.
What are we going ahead with? Are we accepting it as it is, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Could make amendments later if you
yeah.
see any additional ones.
So you're gonna make the motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Grafton County Nursing Home fishing request at the Dells. Do I have a motion?
Is this a one-time thing, Skylar, or is it something? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm just thinking as
Yeah.
far as further requests, because it's saying right now 16 years or younger. Should we set another age where it could be 65 and older?
Hmm.
We can't.
It's a one-time request.
This is a one-time
They
request.
were going to another location that was flooded or something, so they can't go there this year. And they only tend to go once. They might ask for another trip, but it's only temporary.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept it.
Right.
We allow it.
Second it.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And lastly, the Parking Commission appointments. We didn't hear any public comment that changed the people we suggested, so I entertain a motion.
Make that motion.
I'm sorry, second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. We also have the minutes to approve from April 16th. I would entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
There's one correction, this top third of the second page, under the Water and Light Commission. It says motion passed 3-0. It was 2-0. I did not vote. Should we have a motion to accept them as amended?
I got one more amendment. Again, I only look for things that might change the meaning. And under public comments, second sentence, it says Chelsea wanted to know why they as us. I think he meant ask us. So just make that correction too.
Okay,
Make a motion to accept it as amended.
Second.
further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The minutes of April 30th.
Make a motion to accept them as written.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That concludes this evening's meeting. Thank you.
Are we going to a non-public session?
I don't know that we are
Yes.
we?
So
Oh,
we
we
need to do a quick non-public.
Do we have to go into non-public? So, thank you for your time and your input.
Chris, I was hoping Dr. Crispy's not.